This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown at Augusta National today. Round one of the Masters. Right now, Justin Rose in the lead at 6 under par. He's 2 shots ahead of Scotty Scheffler and Corey Connors, both of whom shot a 4 under 68 today. ESPN's Mark Schlabach on Scheffler's low-key personality.
He's going to win a Masters, and he's going to go home to Dallas and spend time with his wife and young son, and that's going to be it. He's been a little salty probably since the end of last year. He seems to have grown tired of all the media obligations for a little bit. I think he's done less to this point in the season, but I think he's a superstar. There's no question about it.
Mark Schlabach on Joe and Q. First round coverage continues on ESPN and the ESPN app. UCLA guard London Jones and forward Janiah Barker will enter the transfer portal. The Bruins got to the Final Four this season for the first time. Ohio State forward Cody McMahon will transfer to Ole Miss. She was the leading scorer for the Buckeyes last season at 16.5 points and 5 rebounds a game.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, we're less than 2 weeks away from the NFL Draft. I'll tell you the unheralded prospects that I'm most excited about. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. Jean-Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And a Mr. Toby Tom play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Locked, loaded, a ton to do. Andy Burcham, the voice of the Auburn Tigers in 15 minutes. Jeff Duncan, the anti-quarterbacker. Jeff Duncan will be here in hour 3, as will Kendall Rogers. Ton to do. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Football Tigers are back on the practice field on Thursday. And some good news from Jump is that Sadir Mitchell, the big transfer defensive lineman from Texas, was back out there. If you missed it on Tuesday, the Tigers were coming back from spring break, and they were running a 2-on-1 drill, a double team drill, 2 offensive linemen, 1 defensive tackle. And Sadir Mitchell kind of got his leg tangled up. He had to be assisted off the field to the injury tent. That's obviously always very concerning especially when big guys like that go down, can't put weight on their leg, at a position that you're really counting on Mitchell coming in and being a key contributor, especially just as you're welcoming Jacoby and Guillory back, a guy who missed all but 2 games a season ago with the ruptured Achilles. Well, the great news is that Sadir Mitchell was back out there, full pads, full go, 100%. We've talked a good bit about Sadir Mitchell throughout this spring because that is such a key spot where you've got numbers which you don't have as great experience. So you're going to be asking somebody or multiple players to do something which they might be capable of doing, they just have never done before. Similar to what you're asking your offensive tackles with Tyree Adams and Weston Davis. Well, so too with the defensive line, where Guillory is your most experienced defensive lineman. He's played in 41 games, but he only has 5 career starts. Sadir Mitchell has played in fewer than 50 snaps in 2 seasons at Texas. Last year was 36 snaps total in the season last year at Texas. Sean Washington was a JUCO guy, at Georgia, JUCO, LSU, played in 12 games a year ago, but very limited snaps. You're asking McKinley and Bro stepping up from their freshman year to their sophomore year. You got 4 true freshmen coming in. It's part of the reason why when we talked about the transfer portal here in the spring, that's a spot where LSU could be looking for for an impact guy, not a body. They got 9 scholarship interior players. They don't need bodies. They might need a guy who's a proven starter, like a 20-game, 30-game starter at the Power 5 level or Power 4 level. But an injury changes the math for you on the defensive line. So great to see Sydir Mitchell back. And that, of course, coincides with Jacobian Guillory returning. And Guillory was back at practice on Tuesday, practicing again on Thursday. And after practice on Thursday, Jacobian Guillory did kind of talk to the media about how he felt being back out there after being, sort of incapacitated since September the 7th when he went down with that ruptured Achilles against Nichols.
Shoot, it's a blessing, man. Really, you know what I'm saying, not like when I went down, I wasn't expecting it, like to be as bad as it was. So like just to fight from all the, just everything I've overcome, you know what I'm saying, like just the battles with I would say like the treatment, like the rehab afterwards. Like it's been up and down, but like lately it's been up and I'm feeling like closer to that 100% mark. So it's just a blessing.
Remember, he's 6 months removed from a ruptured Achilles. That's usually a 6 to 9 month recovery. That should put him full on 100% go for the start of fall camp at the end of July, beginning of August, whenever that date ends up being set. But we expect he should be a full go. And, of course, he's joining a room with a new defensive line coach in Kyle Williams. And remember the context here with Jacobian. Jacobian Guillory has had a different defensive line coach every year he's been at LSU. When he came here, Andre Carter was the defensive line coach. And then you were looking at Jamar Cain, and then Gerald Chapman, and then Jimmy Lindsey, and then they brought in Pete Jenkins. And, of course, what happened a year ago when Jimmy Lindsey got sick and John Jancic went into that role. I mean, that's 6 right there. And then, obviously, Bo Davis a year ago was 7. This will be his 8th his 8th defensive line coach since he's been at LSU. It's a staggering number to think. So it's a lot of different voices. And look, Jacobian was in studio with us several months ago when he was kind of going through his rehab and recovery. And he talked about how it's actually been a blessing. He spun it beautifully so as to say, I've been able to take something from so many different coaches with different approaches. But here's another one now with Kyle Williams. And this is what Jacobian had to say on what he's seen so far through spring with Kyle Williams at the helm.
What I see in the group is like guys that want to come to work and are willing to work every day. You know what I'm saying? It might not be perfect every day, but the guys that come in the room that are willing to get it right is, you can't ask for a better room than that. Just guys that are willing to be perfect. And with Kyle, his mentality, he heard him out there screaming today, like his mentality is like, that's him 24/7. He doesn't fake it. Like what you see, like him yelling and stuff, that's legit him. So like everything, I think he's just going to take us to a whole nother level just mentally. And I think was what we really needed. Dude
with an absolute ton of experience in Jacobian Guillory in that room. And he had one more expounding there on Kyle Williams.
For me, I'm older, obviously. So when I was a recruit, Coach O compared me to Kyle Williams. So I looked him up when I got home, and I've been a Kyle Williams fan ever since. So for me, it's a full circle moment. And I talked to Ahmad, which he was his coach at high school, and I talked to Ahmad, and he said he was a great coach, and I trust Ahmad. So it's been nothing but greatness every single day. Like he's just been attacking that mindset. That's what we need is a better mindset.
And one more from Jacobian Guillory. It's a fun story, though, to hear him talk about Coach O comparing him to Kyle Williams. Their builds are actually similar. Kyle's a little shorter than Jacobian, but where they play sort of on the interior of that defensive line and how they play as guys that can actually get a push up the middle does sort of comp, and you could see how Kyle, the relatability there, but also Kyle's ability to teach what he did to Jacobian could be very profitable for LSU, very fruitful. But one more. Jacobian was asked about the young guys and who's been impressing him so far.
Ahmad, bro. Oh, my God. Me and Ahmad had a talk around, like, was he earlier? I can't remember if he was early or not, but we talked and, he's shorter than me. And I told him, playing a short man game, he'd much rather play the short man game. And I think he's, really held on to that. And he's not, he's the shortest guy out there, but he's the quickest, he's the fattest, he's going to run the hardest, he's going to burn the most calories during practice. So, just upholding him and, having him, that mental part I was talking about. Once he finds out that mental part of the game, he's going to go to a whole new level. And I say that about Ahmad, but the whole defensive line is just like that.
Remember, Ahmad Bro, that's high praise, by the way. Ahmad Bro is listed at 6'3", 280 right now on the official LSU roster. Bro came in as a defensive end and they moved him to defensive tackle. So remember famously Ahmad Bro last year gave his Whataburger order where, what did he say? Like 6, I don't even know, jalapeno, cheddar, bacon, whatever. I don't even know what it was. 6 large fries. I want to find that too, because if Ahmad Bro has a good year, please find that. Anyway, talking about his Whataburger order, and that's a big way of how he put on so much weight. And then when Tank went down, you had the offensive line shuffle. Everybody started playing out of position, right? I mean, Paez had to play the zero technique, and Paris Shan move inside, and then Ahmad Bro had to play as a true freshman. Look, he played pretty well, but now you're talking about a guy in Bro and Don McKinley who you expect to take really big leaps in year 2. So just a little there on the LSU defensive line, just something to keep an eye on as well when you're out at the open spring practice on Saturday. Remember, it's not a spring game, but we've talked about that plenty, but there's no TV and no radio. So, in the past, spring game has been televised, so this is just an open practice where you go out to Tiger Stadium, you're going to watch them practice in Tiger Stadium, then there's an interview session afterwards. So we'll be out there. If you can't make it, we'll certainly tell you what we saw. All right, it's after further review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. So watching LSU baseball this weekend, maybe catching some LSU softball on the road this weekend as well. Or you're heading out to Tiger Stadium, do a little tailgating or tailgating after the open spring practice. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. Nothing goes together like buds and boils, like spaghetti and meatballs, peanut butter and jelly, lamb and tuna fish, buds and boils. Bud Light, boiled crawfish, nothing like it. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, y'all, baseball Tigers hit the road today, tomorrow, game 1, LSU and Auburn. And some interesting parallels as both have swapped key contributing players. Sammy Dutton now is the Friday night guy for Auburn. Chris Stanfield is LSU's everyday center fielder, both playing for different Tigers in this series going against their former squads. We'll talk about that and other stuff with Andy Burcham, the voice of the Auburn Tigers, when we come back on AFR.
After further review.
Tomorrow is another Friday in Lent. Looking for that seafood option, of course. Rouse's has you covered, y'all. If you want live or boiled crawfish, Rouse's has got you. I love the boiled crawfish option, remember, because when you walk into any Rouse's location, the boiled crawfish, they have in-house boiling rooms. So this isn't like it's boiled somewhere else and brought in. Every single Rouse's has in-house boiling rooms. So they boil their crawfish hot, fresh, in-house every single day. So when you walk in, it's bag, tagged, ready to go. If you want just the crawfish, if you want a mix of crawfish and shrimp, you want the corn and potatoes, all of it, they got it. They'll have it tomorrow, well, every day, but especially tomorrow and Friday in Lent over at Rouse's. The Seafood Spectacular as well. So many great options. The flounder fillets is another great option. This is a Friday-only special over at Rouse's for $12.99. You can get it over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
They have a really good group of freshmen, very similarly to we do. You know, really good old middle-of-the-order hitters with Irish and McMurray. I think they're really good on the mound. They use their bullpen really well. They have kind of a hybrid model pitching situation where they have a pitching coach, and then they have Scott Foxhall, who's a long time, SEC caliber pitching coach as a development guy, and Butch by nature or by trade is a pitching coach.
Jay Johnson with a little thumbnail there on Auburn. Guy who knows Auburn even better is a guy who watches every single pitch of every single game. Andy Burcham, the voice of the Tigers, good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Andy, we appreciate it so much. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Looking forward to a big weekend series with the Bayou Bengals coming to town tomorrow night.
Did Jay Johnson nail it?
Pretty good. This freshman class is as good a freshman class as Auburn's had in a while. Matter of fact, it did not lose a freshman to the Major League Baseball draft last summer, and I can't remember the last time that's happened at all, as a matter of fact. And those freshmen are contributing, and you'll see those freshmen in around to the lineup all weekend long as Auburn gets ready for LSU coming to town.
Who are the names that an LSU fan may be seeing Auburn for the first time this weekend, the new names, faces that they'll have to know?
Fralick behind the plate, wears number 44. Has kind of emerged as the everyday catcher right now. Ike Irish, who going into the season was thought to be Auburn's everyday catcher, took a ball off of his shoulder blade in the Vanderbilt series, the opening weekend of the SEC, and missed a weekend of play, or missed most of the weekend of play, and has come back and has been in the lineup primarily as the right fielder for Auburn. So you'll see Chase Fralick behind the plate. Another of the Auburn freshman that has been in there all season long is Bub Terrell, a big physical outfielder, great athlete that will likely play left field for Auburn this weekend. Chase Rembert, the Auburn shortstop or second baseman, out of Pensacola, Florida, has really emerged for Auburn in the middle of the Auburn offense, or the middle of the Auburn defensive infield for the Tigers. And that's just three of the guys. Eric Snow is a guy that transferred in, that took a pitch off of the corner of his batting helmet last weekend and has a pretty nasty black eye. That he is a newcomer that you'll see for Auburn this weekend. But that's just a couple of the Auburn freshmen. Likely, we may see Christian Chatterton pitch for Auburn this weekend. He started Tuesday night against Georgia Tech. Until that point, had been Auburn's Sunday guy to start, but did not pitch last weekend against Alabama. So Auburn used him, and he was really effective at Georgia Tech on Tuesday night. And that's just a few of this Auburn freshman class that they really, really like, this freshman class, and they're getting tons of playing time for Auburn this season.
Future is bright, but the present's pretty good also. Auburn's 23-10 overall. They're 500 in league play through 4 weeks at 6-6. Sam Dutton's a guy a lot of people around here got to know from Alabama, came to LSU, now transferred, has been throwing on Friday. The ERA looks pretty sparkling at 2.66. How's he done there at the front of the rotation?
Yeah, he has. He's taken over the Friday role for Auburn, and I don't think really Auburn knew exactly what they had in Dutton until he started, and he's been Auburn's Friday guy from the get-go, and has just really been a very mature Friday night starter for Auburn, and was outstanding last weekend against Alabama. Now, it didn't hurt that Auburn scored 10 runs against Alabama on Friday night, but Dutton went the distance and threw a 7-inning shutout for Auburn last weekend. And if not for what LSU did on Friday night at Oklahoma, Dutton might have been the SEC pitcher of the week this week. But he has been Auburn's most consistent starter for the Tigers this season. Just very mature. Doesn't necessarily knock the bat out of your hand, but has a good fastball. He will throw his catcher. As a matter of fact, Chase Fralick was talking with the media today, and right now, even as a true freshman, he's in a true freshman catcher. He's calling most of the games. But he said no one shakes off more signs than does Dutton. So I thought that was very, very interesting. But Dutton has just been terrific for Auburn on Friday nights, and he will get an enormous test, obviously, here tomorrow night against a really, really good LSU ball club. And it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that. And Auburn, on the other hand, will be seeing a guy that was in the lineup, near the top of the lineup for Auburn his first 2 years, and Chris Stanfield that comes back to Plainsman Park. So I'll be fascinated to see how both of these guys respond playing their old teams this weekend.
Andy Burcham is with us, voice of the Tigers. I wanted to ask you about Stanfield, but let me ask one follow-up there on Dutton. You mentioned that Fralick is calling the games as a freshman, which is kind of stunning. Number one, is that something that Butch Thompson does regularly, lets his catcher call the games? And what do you make of Dutton shaking him off more than anyone else? Like that whole dynamic.
I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make of that. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah.
It was just an observation.
Sure.
That Fralick gave us today, and I asked Fralick about that, and he said, I've been calling games since I was in high school. I mean, it's just something he has done. It is something that Butch Thompson has, in the last couple of years, has wanted his catchers to do. Now they have veto power, and they do have communication with the catcher, but he will call tomorrow's game. As a matter of fact, he said he will take an hour tonight outside of the practice and the meetings with the pitching coach to go over LSU. But he says, especially on the Thursday nights before an SEC series, he'll take an hour and study the LSU hitters and has a game plan when he goes behind the plate for Auburn. And here's another interesting fact about this young man. He was an outstanding tennis player in his childhood. So you don't see many of those, and I'm not sure what that says other than he's a very good athlete, but a left-handed hitter for Auburn that can hit to all fields for the Tigers right now, and as a true freshman is calling his own game behind the plate.
That is what a kind of fascinating throwback. It'll be interesting to watch. Let's talk about Chris Stanfield. What has his, if anything, has his absence meant for Auburn?
Well, I think Auburn hated to lose Chris, and I hated to lose Chris because he was delightful to talk to. I enjoyed being around Chris, and he always had really interesting things to say in post-game shows when we talked to him, and he was always a really friendly, just individual to talk to, as his family is as well. And is a guy that has surprising pop in the bat, obviously a very good athlete, has a lot of range in the outfield for the Tigers. But I don't think it came as a huge surprise that he moved on from the program, and I think Auburn does miss him. One thing that Auburn has, though, is a plethora of outfielders with this roster. And Cade Ballou did not play for Auburn on Tuesday night, separated his shoulder in the weekend series, I believe, at Georgia, sliding headfirst into second base. Did not play for Auburn last week. Was a freshman All-SEC selection a year ago. Really good power from the left side. And then Bub Terrell has emerged as an everyday guy in the outfield. Ike Irish, everyday guy in the outfield. Bristol Carter, a transfer in with really good range, is a guy. So the numbers are there for Auburn in the outfield, in spite of the fact that Chris Stanfield moved on to play for the Fighting Tigers.
A couple more here with Andy Burcham, the voice of the Tigers. You can get him on Twitter, X at aburcham04 if you want to go give him a follow there. If you look at that, there's obviously the youth has been impressive as a team. They're hitting 304. There's lots to like about Auburn. Is there anything that right now is something Butch Thompson's still working through with this team? Maybe classified a weakness, however you want, something that they feel they need to improve on as we get toward the midway point of conference play?
As Auburn's getting to the midway mark of the SEC, I think the one question mark that Auburn has is the back end of the bullpen right now. Ryan Hetzler, a transfer, has kind of emerged as Auburn's closer at this point and has been really effective at that. But beyond that, Auburn has not been real consistent in the closing department, the back end of that bullpen. I think that's the one big question mark, and the Sunday starter. Christian Chatterton, who started for Auburn Tuesday night at Georgia Tech and was very effective, and it has to be with his changeup. But he got the start Tuesday night at Georgia Tech. It was his first midweek start. He had been Auburn's Sunday starter all season long. So that Sunday start, I think, is still a TBA for Auburn. But I think the back end of the bullpen is, if there is a question mark for this team, other than Ryan Hetzler, it is the back end of the bullpen and who closes a game if Hetzler is not available. And what we have found is that Hetzler can be available twice on a weekend, but not typically in back-to-back days. Is he the most effective? He needs a day in between to be effective. And he has been very effective for Auburn as that closer, but I think Auburn would like some more depth at the back end of the bullpen.
Andy, if Auburn wins this weekend at home against LSU, how do you think it goes for Butch Thompson's squad? What's the blueprint for him?
Well, you've got to find a way to get to this LSU pitching staff, which was incredibly impressive last weekend in Oklahoma. Did not give up an earned run. And this deep into a conference season, I mean, when's the last time you heard of that happening? That's the first thing that popped off the stat page to Butch Thompson was no earned runs allowed by LSU last weekend on the road at a good Oklahoma ball club. So Auburn's got to find a way to score, first and foremost, against LSU. It's a big, big weekend on campus. It is the A-Day weekend. Auburn has added to its ballpark with premium seating in right field behind home plate. They've added a general admission area on the War Eagle wall out in left that is really popular. And it's a program now that has set and reset single game marks. Last weekend was the largest weekend series from an attendance standpoint in history. Of course, it was Alabama in town. And I expect it will be even more with LSU in town this weekend. So I think the atmosphere and the weather is supposed to be good this weekend. Auburn hasn't had an SEC weekend where the weather hasn't affected starting times. Looks like that will hold for Auburn this weekend. I think it's going to be beautiful weather with big, big crowds in town, and Auburn needs that with an extraordinarily good LSU team coming to town. But first and foremost, Auburn's got to find a way to score against LSU and then find a way to keep at bay a really good LSU offense. Auburn has the ability to do both, but will be tested in both this weekend against LSU.
Andy, LSU's coaches were breaking out the puffer jackets last weekend. 40-degree weather in Norman. Here to some nice weather on the plains this weekend for 3 beautiful days of baseball. We're all here for it. Andy Burcham. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and so is Auburn. I mean, it's been rain primarily for Auburn, but I think we're good. I think it's just going to be a beautiful spring baseball weekend on the plains between Auburn and LSU.
Looking forward to it. Andy Burcham, the voice of the Tigers. Thanks for the time, Andy. Have a great call this weekend.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. It is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Our Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. It's not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. You can learn more. Schedule that exploratory that consultation at decisioncriticalbr.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Thanks to Andy for a couple of minutes there. We'll talk plenty more about LSU and Auburn here throughout the day. Tomorrow, by the way, as a reminder, we are at Don Juan Cigar Bar for the show. I'm excited about it. Russell Shepard, former LSU great, a bunch of former Tigers as well. Russell's in town. He's kind of organizing a little bit of a former player get-together. Also, if you're not familiar, Russell, since his NFL career has ended, he's based out of Houston, his hometown, and he's a business owner now, Shep Boys Waste Management, and he's basically expanding all the way throughout the Southeast. So it's going to be a nice networking event for a lot of different business owners. But we invite anybody to come by, man. Have a cocktail, have a cigar, come watch the show, hang out. We'll look forward to it. AFR tomorrow is at Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center, so we'll see many of you there. All right, it is after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. A ton to do. Jeff Duncan's going to be here in an hour and a half, straight up hour number 3. And I'm excited. Jeff has a column today basically explaining why the Saints should not take a quarterback in this draft. So we'll let Jeff explain. Well, I'll kind of give you the counter argument to all the things that I've been saying about why I'm excited for the Saints to draft a quarterback. But Jeff will be with us here in hour 3. So will Kendall Rogers. We'll look forward to that. All right, stay with us. It's AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Cannot recommend highly enough, gentlemen, that you do this. If for nothing else, you should have semi-annual blood work done anyway. And when you're on HRT there at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness and you have your 3 or 6 month blood labs, by the way, they don't charge you for it. A lot of clinics charge you when you go for your blood work, and that can be a couple $100. They cover that cost at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com to set up that consultation, yourgoodwood.com. Listen, you can laugh at the funny name. You can laugh at the logo with the steeple on the W and all that stuff. A lot of that's just to bring levity to a conversation that's uncomfortable for a lot of men. But the bottom line is if you want to feel like your younger self, like they got ED treatments if that's what you're struggling with. But if you want to feel like your younger self again, they can help. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
I know how the old people and the anti-portal people are going to, or anti-NIL people are going to react to this, but this is a pretty significant development out of Knoxville where Tennessee and Nico Iamaleava, according to a report from Pete Nakos at On3, they're in active contract negotiations ahead of the 2025 season. The report notes it's unclear if negotiations will impact whether he enters the spring transfer portal window. Remember, the spring portal window opens up on Wednesday, and it's just a 10-day window. Well, according to the report from Nakos, Nico is very happy at Tennessee, has a good relationship with Josh Heupel, but the market has reset from the time he was coming out of high school, signed what at the time was believed to be the biggest NIL deal out there. Well, what's happened in this portal window, like we've talked about, you've had the front load of contracts, money has dumped into the market, and you've seen the market go up. I've even told you about basketball, where guys who a year ago might have garnered 1.2 are getting $2.5 million. It's just all of these collectives are dumping money into NIL right now because whenever the house settlement is finalized, nobody's really sure what the role of the collectives will be. So they may just be sitting on piles of cash that they have raised that they can't spend. So a lot of these collectives are dumping money into the market right now. And Nico's saying, give me some of that. Carson Beck, Darian Mensah signed contracts that are reported to be around $3 million. I told you the Bryce Underwood number, that he got $12 million from Michigan. Now that's over 4 years. It's $3 million per. But the point is, Nico Iamaleava started every game for Tennessee last year, got him to a playoff. Now, there were times he was really bad last year. He threw for 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 picks. But there was times that offense didn't get going. But he wants more. He wants to be paid what he believes market value is for a starting quarterback at a place like Tennessee coming off a playoff appearance. So maybe it's one of those things where you don't agree to some type of long-term deal early, coming out of high school or anything like that. You go year to year to see what may be out there. But just something to keep an eye on. And I know I can hear it. Oh, it's ridiculous. These kids what do they think they're worth? How is this any different than an NFL player holding out as the market resets? Or any sport, when a player holds out, when the market resets and they've outperformed their contract. And you don't have to like that, but generally speaking, none of us care. It's like, just make sure he's at training camp or make sure he's there for the season opener. As long as that happens, who cares? This shouldn't be any different. And if you try to give me some garbage excuse about how they're college athletes and they get a scholarship, like you can take the scholarship and wipe your behind with it. Like, it is nowhere even remotely close to an equivalent value that a quarterback at a place like Tennessee provides. Like, this isn't 1937, okay? Like, Nico Iamaleava, like, the whole thing about, well, you have your education, you can always take it with you. You can always go back to school. You can't always use the physical ability you have to maximize your profitability. So all of these young people that take advantage of this short window they have with heightened earning potential to make as much as possible now are very smart to do it. And then 10, 20, 50 years later, they can come back to school and pay for their damn education if they want it. So, no. A college degree is not requisite value for someone like Nico Iamaleava or a starting quarterback at a Power 4 at a college football playoff caliber team. So, yeah, go get what you can get, kid. And Tennessee won't give it to him. Somebody will. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com with locations all over South Louisiana. Started in Morgan City, moved up to Baton Rouge, Got a location in the LP now as well, West Baton Rouge, all the way over to the Acadiana area. It's Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service. I love reading this Google review because this really does tell the story of Shawbill's. This 5-star Google review said, I couldn't believe it. They patched my tire for free. I will definitely bring it there for my next car repair. Short wait time and a cup of coffee to boot. Amazing. Tell you all the time. Even if you didn't buy your tire at Shawbill's, if you need a patch tire repair, they'll do it for free. They'll get you in and out. Why? Because Mr. Charlie said it in 1968. It's just the right way to treat people. It's the right thing to do. And as a result, people come year after year after year. That's how you build loyalty. Like, go to the website, go to shawbillstire.com, and you'll see the customer bill of rights. It's things that they believe you as the customer are entitled to when you walk in the door. Just a different way of doing business. That's why they've been around for more than 50 years. Shawbill's, we keep you rolling. Okay, it's after further review. Let's go around the SEC.
SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri has moved up its football season opener. They've been doing this the last several years, playing their season opener on a Thursday. So they'll do that. They'll play Central Arkansas on August the 28th. It was originally scheduled for Saturday the 30th. They've been doing this every year since 2022. So they move games with Louisiana Tech, South Dakota State, or South Dakota, Murray State, and now Central Arkansas.
The Florida Gators.
DB Gregory Smith is entering the transfer portal. It's unclear if he'll remain with the team through the remainder of spring practices. They got their spring game coming up on Saturday. But Smith played in 5 games last year as a freshman, but he's headed out of Gainesville.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Former Wichita State big man Quincy Ballard has committed to the Bulldogs. Began his career at Florida State. Spent last season at Wichita State where he averaged 10 points per game and over 9 rebounds, so nearly a double-double. 6'11", 250, got 1 year of eligibility remaining.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
4-star TCU transfer point guard Frankie Collins has committed to the Commodores. He's a 4-star transfer, according to 24/7. The number 102 overall player, the 18th best point guard. He's a 6'2 guard that chose Vandy over Oklahoma. 11 points, 4 boards, 4 assists a season ago. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. Our Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. Remember, they can come to you as well. If you need an IV, B12 shot, they can come provide that service at your home, at your office. So there's been COVID going around, flu. A lot of people have been sick, stomach bugs. If you get sick, you need an IV to bring you back to life, call Decision Critical. One of their expertly trained nurses will come to your home, to your office, wherever you may be, get you that IV, get you back up and moving again. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 1. Lewis Riddick was on a Get Up on First Take, and had some interesting comments on Shedeur Sanders, and I think at this point it's pretty safe to assume Lewis Riddick is a mouthpiece for the Sanders family. I think that's where he's very clearly where he's getting his information, which is fine, but it's what makes it even more interesting. So we'll get to that here in just a quick second. Yesterday, we talked about what LSU's portal targets may be in the spring window. But what about the other side of that? What about players that may be leaving LSU in the portal? We'll get into that in about half hour. So we got a ton to do. We're like all football day. There's some baseball sprinkled in. Kendall will be here in hour 3, but tons of football today. I'm glad you're hanging out. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for, well, more than 30 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Remember, Gordon has the laptop giveaway that he's starting again. Love this. Gordon talks about it every year. It's one of the many ways that Gordon gives back to the community. He gives away laptops to graduating high school seniors. So if you're interested, maybe you have a high school senior in your home, or if you know someone who is, go to gordongives.com, gordongives.com for part of the Gordon's Grads laptop giveaway. You can get all the details. The entry deadline is April 25th. So you still got a couple of weeks to submit your entry. But if you want to get all the deets, you can go to @GetGordon on any of the social medias, or go to GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Hey, Muse, there's a question for you in the on the text line.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah, you can always text us, by the way, in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. This is from Eric.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric. He said,
what's up, Eric?
He said, do you know if Musso is going? And he sent me a flyer, an event flyer.
Yeah, Lord.
It's, why would you have that reaction?
Because I thought this was a serious question, and clearly it's not. Go ahead.
Why would you assume that?
I don't know, Matt. I really don't have a good answer for you on that. Lapse in judgment on my part.
Well, it's coming up April the 18th through the 20th at Pullman Yards in Atlanta, Georgia. It looks like a music festival. It's called the Sweetwater 420 Fest.
Yeah, I won't be there. One, that just sounds like a horrible time. But number two, that's Easter weekend. We got some events going on, spending time with family, man. That's, Easter's a time with family and for reflection and worship.
And some other stuff, it sounds like, too, yeah.
No.
Probably.
None of that.
Probably some other stuff. Well, what? I was talking about crawfish. I eat crawfish every Easter.
Yeah, we're not doing crawfish this year, though.
Whatever.
Pulled pork actually is going to be on the menu Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Pulled pork on Easter?
On Easter Sunday, yeah.
Sinner. You can't eat pork on Easter.
Yes, you can.
That's a rule.
That is not a
It's
rule.
in the Geneva Convention.
It might be in the Geneva Convention, but it's not a rule.
It was in the Council of Nicaea.
It might. I don't think it was in the Council of Nicaea.
It was in the Council of Trent.
No.
I remember that from religion in 7th grade.
It wasn't there either.
That's where Mr. Owens taught me that at MBS in the 7th grade. Go Pelicans.
There we go. That's what a pelican sounds like.
This is what a pelican sounds
That's
like.
right, yeah.
We didn't have bells at MBS to change classes. They would have a pelican sound come through the speakers.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we wouldn't have a bell. This is how we would change class. They would go,
okay.
That was everyone's cue
And-
to
and
get
you
up
knew.
and fly to your next class.
Fly to your next, yeah.
Of course there wasn't a pelican sound. Of course we used a bell. I don't think we had a bell. I think they used like a chime or it was like a
beep.
Like a boom. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
There wasn't like actually a bell.
Bruh.
Or maybe we did have a bell
Just
at
bad-
MBS.
bad
and at,
memories.
And at Catholic, maybe it was like I think at Catholic we had a chime. It was like bing, bing, bing. Like that's what it was. It made
Yeah.
you change classes.
At STM and at St. Michael's, we had the bong like that, but it wasn't
like a loud horn.
It was more like a sustained beat, is what it was.
When you went bong, kind of sounded like you were saying bong.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to really do the.
Sound like you were saying
It was
bong.
more like boop, like that.
Sounded like you were saying bong.
No, it didn't.
Maybe
I
you
wasn't.
will be at the Sweetwater 420 Fest.
I will not
after
be.
All. Maybe you will be.
Nope.
So after further review, Muse is heading to the 420 Fest. Look him up. Who is that guy again? Eric? Look him up, Eric. He'll be there. You can text us like Eric did, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Matthew Windsor said, puffing with Jesus.
I don't think Jesus puffed.
It might have.
He might have.
What's to say he didn't?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus' first miracle was water into wine at the wedding at Cana.
It's
Everyone
different.
who's like, booze is bad. It is bad. Why was that Jesus' first public miracle?
Yeah, booze is not bad.
Hey, look, you want to abuse it? It's like anything's bad. Ask Muse when he goes out there abusing the Mary Jane. That's
Doesn't happen.
bad. You
Doesn't
know,
happen.
you use it in moderation. You want to do, you do you.
It's called the devil's lettuce. I don't think Jesus would have used that. And if he did, I think one of the 12 would have documented that somewhere along the lines.
Well, he didn't call it the devil's lettuce. Someone else gave it that name.
Yeah.
That rolled off the tongue a little too freely there, Muse. KJ Stewart sent a text. Any word when LSU will get Gavin Guidry back? No. I mean, Jay Johnson did say that they were kind of hoping to target the Auburn week. And, Auburn weekend is here. And I don't know if we're going to see him. I hope we do. It'd be great. I also kind of look at it as maybe I don't want to. All right, so this is complete spin zone, candidly. Where like I look at it as you're learning to win without him back there. And so you're having to develop other people. And so when you get him back, when you get him back, it's a total luxury, and you will have used this opportunity to build up other people in that role. I mean, it has necessitated Cason Evans being what he is, which is awesome, but not having Gavin Guidry back there sort of necessitated it. I'd compare it a lot to, I've used this before, but it's like Chad Jones in 2009 on that championship team. Remember, Chad Jones was going through spring football, only after spring football joined the baseball team, and then started his emergence late in conference play and then through the postseason. Of course, was so critical with what they did in Omaha. But the dreadlocks of doom and all is amazing to see. But that became a luxury that you had later in that championship season. Maybe Guidry will end up being the same for this team. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We are brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question like Muse is, all you got to do is go to Lee Michaels. Muse isn't even thinking about it. Like, it's happening. He went and bought that ring. He's ready to roll. Muse, what's the proposal date? Do we have it yet?
No. There's no proposal date.
You're just not telling us because you want it to be a surprise. I get it. You sly dog, you. You're just keeping it a surprise.
No.
Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Yes!
Yes! No! Yes!
Thriller with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels. They have loose diamonds. They have an amazing selection. Of course, you always get the Lee Michaels experience. Remember, you will never find a man-made or a lab diamond at Lee Michaels. What are you really buying? I mean, it's a science experiment. At Lee Michaels, they will only sell the finest diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com. for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lewis Riddick was on First Take today and had this to say about Shedeur Sanders and the possibility of going to the top 3 picks of the draft.
Shedeur is someone who wants to be collaborative. He is someone that you want to talk with. He doesn't like to be told just, this is the way we're going to do things, and then you're just going to need to fall in line. And he kind of has, he's earned that right because of the way he has played. This young man is going to be just fine. And you know what? I hope he doesn't go in the top 3 picks. I hope he doesn't. And I think his camp would tell you the same thing. There are other teams that they want to go to.
He could be in a better situation, obviously, if you fall. And
You want to talk about spin? Yeah, I don't want to go in the top 3. I'd rather go 9. I'd rather lose about $1 million per pick every one that passes. Now, look, the Sanders obviously have money and fame and all that sort of stuff, but don't get it twisted. If Shedeur goes 3 to the Giants, he'd be pumped to be able to do that. But I also do believe that Lewis Riddick, who's got a long-standing relationship with Deion, is getting his information fed to him through the Sanders family. So that's what you're hearing there. But if he's open to coming to New Orleans, y'all know how I feel about it. I'm down. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. You know, this year, our friends over at First South Farm Credit handed out $25.5 million as part of their patronage refund back to their borrowers. Just for borrowing with First South Farm Credit, every year, they actually write a check back to you, their borrowers, which effectively lowers your cost of borrowing by about 1%. So if your rate is 5%, when you get the patronage refund each year, kind of like you're actually paying 4%. Listen, maybe you're looking to buy that hunting property. You know, if you want to go prep that, this is the time. Get on by and see our friends at First South Farm Credit. You want to do it. You don't want to start buying your land and going through that whole process of prepping for deer season right before deer season. Begin that process now with First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
I'm Doug Brown. Right now, live coverage of Round 1 at the Masters on ESPN and the ESPN app. Justin Rose cruising 7 under through 15 holes. Clean card so far, and he has a 3-shot lead over Corey Connors and Scotty Scheffler. The national champion Florida Gators will celebrate their 3rd NCAA title at halftime of the football team's orange and blue game Saturday. Head coach Todd Golden on the tournament's most outstanding player, Walter Clayton Jr.
He's just an incredible human being, man. He just has a special way about him. We call guys either light bulbs or drains, and this guy's a light bulb. He makes everybody around him happy.
Todd Golden on Clinton and Friends. Jets wideout Alan Lazard agrees to a significant pay cut to stay with the team. He'll be a free agent after the season. The Frozen Four starts today in St. Louis. The men's college hockey semifinals on ESPN2. Coverage right now, Denver and Western Michigan, followed by Penn State and Boston University.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, we're less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. I'll tell you the unheralded prospects that I'm most excited about. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid! I dropped my pen. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Jeff Duncan, 1 hour from right now. Jeff does not think the Saints should take a quarterback with the 9th overall pick. He'll join us to tell us why in 1 hour from right now. Cam Jordan was a guest on the NFL Network. Oh, Cam. Cam. Cam-a-lam. Cam-a-lam-a-ding-dong. Cam, my ma'am. Man with an M. Because it rhymes with Cam. This is what he said. Play it.
I think we have a team where, when healthy, top tier. Last year, went 2-0. You saw a healthy Rashid Shaheed. You saw Chris Olave, a healthy offensive line. You saw a team that was determined. Young guys coming off the edge. Chase Young, Carl Granderson. You have Brian Brzee, splashing this year. And then, that was sort of after 2 games, that was about the last time you saw us all healthy. We were facing the next man up every week, including at our quarterback position. So give me a healthy Derek Carr, and I can tell you where a healthy Saints state of mind will be. I mean, this is a division that, let's be real. The Bucs have won the division the last 3 or 4 years. But let's just not say they're running away with it. The last 3 years, they clearly won this last, the NFC South this last year, 10-7. The year before that, 9-8. The year before that, 8-9. It's definitely attainable to go after them.
Cam I am. Cam-a-lam. I want to remind you, April 9th, 2024, nearly a year to the day nearly 1 year to the day, Cam Jordan said this.
When it comes down to, my playing days for the next 2 years with the Saints, I'm just trying to win a Super Bowl, whatever that takes. I know that there's a Super Bowl in New Orleans, and I'm trying to be a part of that, and not just on the outside looking in factor. I want the Saints to be in New Orleans playing for the city, playing for our championship. And I think, we even pre-draft, we had a team that came on strong at the end, and we had a chance for a playoff push. All we need is a chance.
And I want a full head of hair and a toilet seat made of solid gold. But those things just aren't in the cards, Cam. Cam Jordan, for whom I have the utmost respect. I mean, he has been an incredible leader and advocate, not only for the New Orleans Saints, for the city of New Orleans. The millisecond he retires, they need to rush 94 into the rafters and his name into the Saints Ring of Honor. Like, the millisecond it happens. But Cam Jordan is basically becoming like the Black Knight in Monty Python.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Just a flesh wound.
I mean, he's standing there, his arm's been cut off, bleeding profusely, and he's continuing the fight. Like, brother, it's over. The fight is over. And I can understand for a man who is being paid handsomely and wants to win, is a competitor, like, you want to believe all those things, and you want to go after those things. But, like, the odds makers have set the Saints win total this year over under 5.5. And they're assuming they're going to be healthy. They're not assuming injuries. They're assuming health. I mean, high end. You're a 6-win team. Let's say you blow that out the water. You win 7-8 games. You're still not winning the division. You're a sub-500 team. You're not close to competing. Your division odds right now, the Bucs are even money. The Falcons are 2-1. The Panthers are 4-1. The Saints are 7-1. The freaking Carolina Panthers, who at the midway point of last year, they were literally talking about trading Bryce Young, who they traded everything for 3 years to move up and get. In a year and a half in, they're talking about trading him as how bad he was. They're 4-1. You're 7-1. You are a hot poo-poo. You're nowhere close. You're not even the Black Knight with one arm off. You're now both arms off, and then he gets his leg cut off. Like, that's what you are right now. What are you going to do, bleed on me? The only team that has worse odds for the Super Bowl this year are the New York Giants. You have the second worst odds for the Super Bowl this year. It's incredible. I mean, Cam is becoming the personification of that gift, that this is fine with the little dog sitting in the burning house. Oh, this is fine. Like, Cam is the personification of that gif right now. Is that a gif or a meme? Is that a meme or is that a gif?
Both. It's both.
Yeah, both. When the fire is moving, it's a gif.
Yeah.
If it's just a still shot, it's a meme.
Exactly.
I mean, in the whole argument about, hey, we're 2-0 last year when we were healthy. Who did the 2 wins come against? You beat Carolina and Dallas. You beat 2 of the worst teams in the league. You thought it was something at the time. It wasn't. It was fool's gold. And yes, injuries exacerbated the Saints' problem. They would have won more than 5 games a year ago had they stayed healthy. You still want a playoff team. Come on, Cam-a-lam. Cam-a-lam-a-ding-dong. I'm not saying you have to stay. Well, I can hear the chorus. Well, what do you want him to say, Matt? We stink. We're not winning anything? I mean, Myles Garrett went and asked for a trade because he knows he's wasting the prime of his career with an organization that's not going to win anything. I'm not saying you have to go to that extent, but you can acknowledge what you are and how far you have to go. I mean, we sat with DeMario Davis at the Super Bowl on Radio Row, and he told us he wants to play 3 more years because he thinks that's what it's going to take to build this thing back up to where the Saints can be a Super Bowl contender. In 3 years in the NFL, can be an eternity. Like, you can turn an organization around in 3 years. I keep giving the example of the Cincinnati Bengals. They went face down in the dirt. They draft Joe Burrow. His knee exploded in October of his rookie year. And in his second year, they went to the Super Bowl. That was a 3-year process of drafting correctly, hitting in free agency, of resetting your organization. And it can be done. But if you think the New Orleans Saints are going to go from a 5-win team, firing Dennis Allen, bringing in a 36-year-old first-time head coach in Kellen Moore, a 36-year-old first-time head coach in Ellen Moore. And, like, you're just going to go crush it this year and win the division. I mean, better chance of Head and Shoulders hiring me for those Troy Polamalu commercials. It's just not going to happen. Like, it's one of my biggest frustrations with this organization is their unwillingness to acknowledge their current state that literally everybody else in the football-loving world does acknowledge what the Saints are, which is a very bad football team, an old team with bad, expensive contracts. Like, I can hang with you through losing seasons. Hell, I did it my whole life until Sean Payton and Drew Brees showed up. I've done it the last 4 years. I'll hang with you. That's loyalty, man. When you go through the muck, it makes the glory times feel even better. And when you've been good, it makes being bad feel even worse, which is why you want to work hard to get back to the good times. But you have to have a realistic plan to get there. And that's what organizationally they don't have, or they haven't shown anyway. Cam out there on the NFL Network talking about winning the division this year. Shoot. I got some beachfront property in Bunkie I'd like to show you, Cam. Play the Monty Python thing again. That was funny. I like that.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Just a flesh wound.
You know, that's his blood squirting. I'll play it again. That's his blood. Muse hasn't seen it.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Just a flesh wound.
That's his arm squirting blood.
I'll have to watch that, man.
I don't know how that one's gotten past you all these
I know,
years.
because it's right up my alley. Like, it is right in the wheelhouse.
I mean, like, I'm not the one to be like, oh, you have to go see fill in the blank movie, because y'all know, man, I ain't seen a movie in like 15 years. So it's like, people tell me, oh, you have to see. I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to, like, if I have 2 hours of my life to do whatever I want, it's just not going to be that. So I'm good. So I'm not going to tell you have to see it, because you do you. You do you in life. But if you find a couple hours and you're like, I got nothing to do and I'm down to do whatever, and I want to get some pop culture references that old people like Scone make from time to time, that's a good one. That's a good one to watch.
Huh.
Check it out. All right. You'll get a lot of jokes that people make. That are you'll understand a lot of things that are rooted in that movie that have sort of permeated, comedic culture for 50 years. That movie was made in the 70s. What year was that?
Wow. I didn't know it was that.
What year was that? Check that out. Monty Python, The Holy Grail. Monty Python Search for the Holy Grail.
1975.
70, yes, or 70s. I mean, you're talking about a 50-year-old movie. You know what I mean? It's old.
I wonder if it's on like Netflix or something.
Oh, it's got to be. Everything's on Netflix. Oh, maybe not. Okay.
Well, they don't have to be.
Okay. Well,
it's on some streaming service.
I'll just tell you that, as we know that I'm the last human to subscribe to Netflix.
Yeah, you are. That's true.
When it happened. So I don't. Who am I to say what's on Netflix? I don't have a clue.
You didn't even have it during COVID, right? Like, it was after that.
Correct.
Yeah, man.
I think it was last summer.
Yeah.
We subscribed to Netflix like this past July, whenever I took my week off that I normally take around vacation and everything. We do vacation, I take a week. We got back from the beach and we had, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like we subscribed to Netflix then. Was it then or was it? No, I was going to say, was it Christmas, like end of the year? But it wasn't then.
It was before then.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's AFR.
AFR.
Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Oh, that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to fog my vehicle when I was at the parish office today. Parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So, like, a lot of people now have been sick. something's running through our building as well. If it's COVID, if it's flu, if it's whatever's going around, stomach bug, you want to knock it out? Easy. Call Parrish. They'll come by. They'll dry fog. It's simple. They got those Sprinter vans. They'll pull up. The hoses run through the Sprinter vans, go into your building. They'll spray. They'll let the fog dwell. It'll kill everything down to the spores. As soon as it dissipates, you're back in free, clear, healthy, and you're not like cutting sheetrock. You're not removing things. It's completely safe. So they're not pulling things out. Just everything it'll touch, it'll kill everything that's living there. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. It's Parrish Restoration. Learn more at parrishrestoration.com. That's parrishrestoration.com.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the 2025 Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The following local businesses have also pledged to match your donations throughout the month: Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, Action Industries, Subaru of Baton Rouge, Service Chevrolet, Luba, and Duplessis Pool Builders. Visit 1045ESPN.com to help us reach our goal, and together we can make dreams come true.
Anthony Boudreaux gets my humor. I want to see that Head & Shoulders commercial. I have tears in my eyes. Somebody gets it.
Thanks for listening, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony. Mike said, I get it, Matt. What are coaches and players supposed to say? Yeah, we're going to suck this year. I mean, I addressed that already, Mike. I understand you don't have to say that, but there is an in-between. There is a, look, I understand we have a ways to go. It's exactly what I just said about DeMario Davis. DeMario recognized it was a 3-year bill, but you have to acknowledge, like, what's old saying, like, the first step to enforcing change or affecting change is acknowledging a change needs to be made. And the Saints just refuse to do that. So until they do, it's hard to imagine they're going to be able to turn the thing around. Bronson brings up a good point. He said, Matt, good organizations do not measure by only wins. That's true. You have to look beyond the results, as Gumsmack and Mick, in fact, did tell us all. If you want to text the show, you can. 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Oh, Brandon just sent us. Look at this, Muse. He just sent me a screenshot of all the different streaming services that Monty Python's on. Peacock, Tubi, Pluto TV, Sling TV, Plex, the CW. It's free on the CW.
I didn't know the CW had a streaming platform. That's crazy.
BritBox, Prime, YouTube TV, Google Play, Apple TV. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, YouTube TV. I got that.
There you go.
How about that? All right.
Whenever you're ready, Muse, you just let me know. I'll come over, pop some popcorn, we'll drink some beers. You'll do the thing that you do that everybody makes fun of you for doing. And we'll watch Monty Python.
I do have both popcorn and beer at the house right now, actually.
And the other thing.
No, that's not there.
Yeah.
I don't have that anywhere, actually.
When we were talking about Jesus earlier, people started bringing up Moses in the burning bush.
It's
true. Moses. Noted pothead. The burning bush.
Moses, noted pothead. What a sentence. What a sentence, man. Ooh. What book is that one in?
How about that imagery?
Yeah. That's. I mean, he did have the long hair, the long beard. Like,
tell me a dude with an unkempt long beard, long hair, with walking around sandals all day.
Talk to the sky all the time.
Talking to the sky, telling stories about a burning bush and
partying at the partying the Red Sea.
You know what we're gonna do? That's some trippy stuff. You know what we're gonna do? We're going to go walk through the desert for 40 years. That's what we're going to do.
Look.
Because a cloud told me to. A voice in a cloud told me to. A voice in a burning bush told me to. There it is. We've gotten to the bottom of it. Moses. Noted pothead.
Yeah.
Muse. Takes one to know one, right?
I wouldn't know.
So we talked about the transfer portal and what LSU's needs may be. Something we haven't really considered is the other side of that. Players that might go into the portal. I think sometimes we're just conditioned as fans to assume that, like, when you have something, you hold on to it and you're not going to leave it, or it's not going to leave you, and you sort of take your eye off the ball there and you start looking at everything outside that may come in. Well, I want to remind you, last year in the spring portal window, so after spring practice, when the spring portal window opened in 2024, LSU had 8 players go into the portal in the spring window. So after spring practice, Jackson Howard, Kai Preen, Connor Gilbreth, Joe Cryer, Ryan Yates, Jeremiah Hughes, Christian Braithwaite, and John Emery. Now, Emery, as we know, was taking visits. When the Trey Holly situation was never resolved, LSU extended the invite for John Emery to come back for his 6th season at LSU, which we know he did and then ended in injury. But that was 8 guys that entered the portal after spring practice, and you added 2. You added JVR Suggs and then Blake Oxendorf, the punter from Louisiana Tech. You added him late. So I look at it and I go, if you're thinking and you're looking at numbers, right? Your 85-man roster. And we know that can go up to 105 this year, but as the SEC teams have denoted, like, they do not plan on going to 105 this year with scholarships. But it doesn't mean you can't come in under that number as well, which you may be. You don't want to be too far under that number. So we'll see what happens coming up in the next 2 weeks, because on Wednesday is when the spring portal window opens, so players can start to put their name formally into the portal. They can declare now if their intention is to do that. And you're starting to see some of those names already. But Wednesday is when it can formally happen. It's a 10-day window that's open, shorter than the 30-day December window that's open. But 10-day portal window, and then once your name is in, you can choose where you're going to go whenever. But, I mean, obviously you have to be enrolled before the start for the spring, or excuse me, for the fall semester if you're going to play. But the numbers situation and numbers crunch, I think, is going to be interesting with this, because normally if you're looking at positionally what guys may leave, like just look at what we just talked about. Jackson Howard, defensive line, Kai Preen, wide receiver, Joe Cryer, offensive line, Yates, Hughes, secondary. The positions where you tend to have a lot of scholarship players and bodies is where guys can get buried and maybe get discouraged and leave for a better opportunity, a clearer path to the field. So you look at things like offensive line or wide receiver or defensive back, or they're guys that are maybe buried down in the depth chart, and you go through 15 spring practices and realize that, man, how far it appears you are from the playing field, especially in a year like this for LSU, where you brought in 17 guys via the portal. When you go so ham, adding players, in the first portal window, you had 19 enter into the portal. But when you go so ham and adding players, and those guys come in for spring, then you realize you have those guys ahead of you and the existing veterans ahead of you. Sometimes your path to the field is even further in this season. Guys may get discouraged and leave. So we'll start to have a better sense next week. But remember, one of the other things Brian Kelly did, and I think this is pretty tactical and a shrewd move by Brian Kelly. Remember, they took 2 practices from last week and moved it to the back end of spring. So Saturday, when they have the open practice in Tiger Stadium, that's not the end of spring practice for LSU. Brian Kelly talked about this when he met with reporters a few weeks ago. They actually took 2 practices and moved them to next Tuesday, Thursday. So with the portal window opening on Wednesday, LSU still has another practice on Thursday. So as to take advantage of the full 34 days allotted. So whenever you start spring, you have 34 days to get in your 15 practices. So Kelly sort of talked about having, give me that. I want that too, by the way. Please find that, because I think we're going to come back to that as well. Talked about having using the full 34 days, so more time on task with the team. Even if it's only 15 practices, it's still 34 days that they can use for class time and everything with the team. And then, obviously, the timing of it, the schedule of it, extends into the portal window, which is obviously intentional as well with the way they're doing that. And the other thing Brian Kelly talked about was using the spring game and the 14th practice, right? The practice before the spring game to get work done. Do you have that one? It should all be there. Play the one. The one you have there is just the one him explaining that they're moving 2 practices. Find the one where he talked about the spring and the 14th and 15th practices, like why they're adjusting the spring game, the structure of the spring game, and using the 14th and 15th practices as well, because that's probably the better explanation if you got it. You have it? Oh, okay. I thought you had it. All right. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by our friends over at South Point Volkswagen and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Hey, remember, when you go to the website, everything's there for you. You want to search new inventory? It's at the website. You want to search certified pre-owned inventory? It's at the website. You can search by year, make, model, body style, price. You just hit new cars or used cars, and everything that's on the lot, it's right there. So maybe like you have I mention all the time, maybe you got like a high school or college grad in your family, and you're going to buy them a vehicle as a graduation present. Well, Volkswagen's awesome because it checks all the boxes. It's safe and affordable, which you'll love. It's stylish and fun to drive, which they'll love. So it checks all those boxes. But maybe you want something pre-owned. Not just Volkswagens, all makes and models. Go to the used car tab. Kerry Manuel, my friend, is the used car manager over at South Point. Remember, people trade in their old vehicle to buy a new Volkswagen, so South Point is a great certified pre-owned inventory. You want to search all different makes and models, you can do so right there at the website at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Did you find it? It's literally in that same press conference.
That's what I'm saying. I know I have it. I'm trying to figure out which one it is and listening and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm digging.
Okay. We got a good break. Just trying to buy you time there. I mean, like, literally is the next one from the one that you pulled.
I mean,
it was all in the same thing.
Yeah, I'm aware, and yet it's not showing up. I know I cut it because we played it on the show, and it's not showing up. So, I mean, I was looking for it.
Okay. It's after further review. We'll just move on. If we get it later, we'll come back to it. Jeff Duncan in 30 minutes. Kendall Rogers in hour 3 as well. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group. Of course, at the Advanced Turnaround Group, they focus on one thing, your turnaround jobs. So if you have a turnaround coming up, we're in turnaround season really now through October. If you've got that turnaround coming up, would love if Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group would have the opportunity to bid your job, because they're going to get it done efficiently, safely, and they offer 24-hour emergency services, specialty welding. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group. Remember, Action Industries has been around since 1982. Great industrial contractor. Say it all the time. There's two things you got to do to be able to get jobs inside the fence. Number one, you have to have an exemplary safety record. And number two, because you rely on repeat business and repeat customers, you have to do great work to get rehired. Well, when you've been around since 1982, you've checked those two boxes. And of course, the Advanced Turnaround Group focuses on the turnaround services. So check them out today over at Action Industries.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
I'm glad you're rolling along with us here. Two Tigers and the Pros in about a dozen minutes from right now. Remember, no Jimmy. He's over in Monaco. He's in Monaco watching tennis this week. I don't even know what tournament they're playing in Monaco, but Jimmy Ott is in Monaco watching tennis. Meanwhile, there's SEC baseball going on, and the Masters is going on, and Jimmy's in Monaco watching tennis. To each their own. You do you, Otter. But he'll be back next week. So no Otter locks. They do have the Otter locks for the Masters up, a bevy of picks from all their contributors. So if you want to jump in on it late, you can see what value may still be there as you move through day one of the Masters. But all up at LouisianaSports.net if you want it. Whenever we learn of the Saints hosting a top 30 visit, hosting a prospect on a top 30 visit, we've been talking about them here for all the reasons that I've explained in the past. If you're going to invest the resources to bringing a prospect to your facility, working them out, doing the medical, getting to know them more, then there's legit interest. It doesn't mean that you're going to draft all those players. I mean, you have 30 of such visits that you can host. The Saints have 9 picks, so just math. They're not going to be able to draft all these players, but it is a very good indicator that there's sincere interest in that player and where they might be picking the draft. Well, one of the players that the Saints reportedly did bring into the facility this week is Arkansas wide receiver Isaac Tesla, a name that should be familiar to a lot of SEC fans. Tesla this makes a lot of sense for New Orleans, primarily because he breaks the mold of what you presently have. Jordan Schultz put it on Twitter that Tesla visited the Lions, Bills, Saints, and Rams. So, and other people have it as well. Ryan Fowler at Draft Network reported that Tesla visited the New Orleans Saints. So, primarily when we look at the Saints receiver group, you look at Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks. All 3 of those guys are 6 foot and under. So you're talking about 3 small wide receivers. You don't have a real prototypical big-bodied receiver, especially a big-bodied receiver that can also stretch the field. And that's what Isaac Tesla can do. So he's one of these guys that's a little bit of a workout warrior where the productivity didn't necessarily match the ability in college. So he is 6'4", 214 pounds. At the combine, he actually came in a little under 6'4", but 214 pounds, and he ran the 40 in 4.43. So you're talking about a dude that's 6'3", 214, ran a 4.43 40, and oh, by the way, you want to talk about workout warrior, the all-important, to the Saints, relative athletic score. How about our guy with a 9.93 relative athletic score? Oh, my God. For perspective, since 1987, are you ready for this number? Since 1987, there have been 3,815 receivers to enter the NFL draft. Isaac Tesla's relative athletic score ranks 29th. 29th out of 3,815 receivers to enter the NFL since 1987. Oh, my goodness. For an organization that loves the relative athletic score, Isaac Tesla is their wet dream. I mean, this is a sight to behold. Problem is the productivity wasn't there. Over the last 2 years, he played in 25 games and had just 62 catches for 896 yards and 5 touchdowns. You would have expected with a guy that's that physically gifted that maybe there would have been more productivity at the college level. But sometimes, and that's why, by the way, when you look at his draft ranking where he falls, he's projected as like a 5th or 6th round guy, a day 3 draft pick. Now, I also believe that's a reason why you don't need to go wide receiver at number 9. Now, look, if you are absolutely head over heels smitten with Tedero McMillan, he's there at 9, you pick him, okay. I mean, there have been awesome wide receivers that have gone in the top 10 and first rounders in general. From a decade ago when Mike Evans was 7th overall to guys like Jamar Chase. I mean, you can go through the list of those top-tier elite-level receivers. But last year in the NFL, in 2024, there were 24 1,000-yard receivers. They had a couple tight ends mixed in there like Brock Bowers. But of the 24 pass catchers that went over 1,000 yards, 14 of them were first-rounders, meaning 10 were drafted outside of round 1. Yes, there's Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and Jackson Smith and Jigba and CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy and elite level talents. But you can find guys outside of round one like A.J. Brown and Devontae Adams and Nico Collins and Jacoby Myers and Puka Nacua and Tyreek Hill. You can find value at receiver throughout the NFL draft. So while the New Orleans Saints have got to address receiver, I would say receiver is the biggest need offensively in this draft for the New Orleans Saints. I don't think it has to be at number 9. If they go Tetero and McMillan at 9, I'm good with that. I've told you, and I've been consistent on this. There's only 2 things that I will be very displeased. You want to see Matt red-faced, yelling, screaming, sweating, all that stuff? Ashton Genty at 9 or trading up from 9 to get a quarterback. Those are the 2 things where I would be pissed off. Anything else, whatever they do at 9, I'm going to be good. Because when you're as bad as the Saints are, they need everything. So if they go McMillan at 9, great. But if they decide, hey, we're going to go best player, and there's a guy available who's like the 5th best player in the entire draft on their board, and they take him. Whoever that may be. Maybe it's one of the offensive linemen. Maybe it's Mason Graham. Maybe it's Mykel Williams, one of the edge rushers. I don't know. But if they do that, fine. Because then you can get a pass catcher at 40. Or in round 3. Or a guy like Isaac Tesla in round 5 or 6. There's value throughout the draft. And it may be a thing where, like, for example, and this isn't gospel, this is just their ranking. ESPN ranks Isaac Tesla as the 25th best receiver in this class. So 6'3", 214, runs a 4.43 40, and has a relative athletic score of 9.93. He's the 25th best receiver according to ESPN in this draft class. I mean, you got a lot of raw material there that's pretty incredible to work with. But look at a guy like Trey Harris. Trey Harris from Ole Miss, before the injury, was a total freak show that in the best conference in America, nobody could touch. He's a guy that, if you believe these rankings, will probably be on the board at number 40. Like Isaiah Bond, who started his career at Alabama, went to Texas. Isaiah Bond is projected to be like a round 3 guy. Maybe, and you got 2 third-round picks, maybe like your early round 3 pick could be a spot where you're looking at Isaiah Bond. And then maybe you're getting best available at 9, best available at 40, and then you get a really good value pick at receiver in round 3. I think no matter where the Saints choose to pick receiver, and they're going to pick a receiver in this draft, you have an offensive-minded head coach, and it is a desperate need. I don't care that you signed Brandon Cooks. It was a stupid signing anyway. Signing Brandon Cooks wasn't stupid. Giving Brandon Cooks a 2-year contract for a 31-year-old receiver who's declined each of the last 3 years and is basically an older version of Rashid Shaheed, giving him a 2-year contract is stupid. If you brought in Cooks on a veteran minimum, I'd have been fine with it. The fact that you committed 2 years and was it $11 million, $7 million to Brandon Cooks, that's stupid. And that's what's plagued this organization. They signed old players to bad contracts. That's why they continue to be bad. But you've got 3 small receivers, and then you've got Kevin Austin, Bub Means, Dante Pettis, Mason Tipton, and Cedric Wilson. Those are the receivers you have under contract. So you're going to go get me a big-body dude that can fly in the middle rounds? Yeah, I'm good with it. I would love that. So keep an eye on Isaac Tesla out of Arkansas. All-important relative athletic score, 993 on the relative athletic score. Gotta love it. We'll keep an eye on him. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out. Let me knock out a break. We'll continue here next.
After further review.
Hey, if you're thinking of building a pool, building an outdoor kitchen, you want Duplessis Builders. Local company, Derek Duplessis, LSU grad, worked as an engineer, left his engineering job because he wanted to build pools. I've told you about the standard, the quality that he uses, will not cut corners. That's why he builds something that is built to last. Lots of companies can put pretty pictures of their pools on Instagram, and they have that as well. The work is beautiful, but it's built to last. One thing I would recommend you do, go to the website, duplessisbuilders.net. If you're interested, duplessisbuilders.net. By the way, this is building or remodeling. Like maybe you bought a home that has an old pool that needs to be updated. They can do that for you as well, Duplessis Builders. Go to the website. At the top of the website, there's a tab that says Your Book. It's a book they put together to explain the pool building process so you can be a more informed buyer. DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Jeff Duncan in a dozen minutes from right now. Big shout out to our friends over at Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. As we always say, it's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. Maybe you're bringing home a new baby. Maybe it's end-of-life care. Maybe it's post-op after a surgery. Maybe you're caring for an elderly parent and you need help. That's what Decision Critical's expertly trained nurses are here for. Schedule that discovery call, decisioncriticalbr.com. By the way, they've expanded New Orleans, Lafayette, decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, Musso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
The Dallas Cowboys, they're making an addition to their offensive line, and that addition is former Tiger Sadiq Charles.
Hey!
Multiple reports that Charles will be added to the 90-man roster. Charles recently worked out for the team and is returning to the NFL after he actually sat out the 2024 season. You'll remember.
He file for retirement?
Yes, he did. You'll remember he signed with the Titans last year as a free agent and then retired early in training camp.
Okay.
The Titans released him when he shared his intention to return to action this year. So I guess he retired, but he was still under contract for them. So they were like, no thanks.
Beat it.
Yeah, that's what they told him, to beat it. And so they released him. So now he's going to be with the Cowboys. Because remember, of the Commanders before the Titans drafted 4th round, 2020. So, another 2019 LSU Tiger back in the NFL and, making waves. Jake Fraley, a night ago. Excuse me. Wore the collar 0 for 2, but did draw a couple of walks, would come around to score. The Reds' offense is just dreadful. So hopefully Fraley can get things going a little bit there for Cincinnati. What?
People are texting me Monty Python.
That's good. That's solid. Alex Bregman last night.
Can Mickey Loomis be the guy in the Bring Out Your Dead skit?
and they're using it to troll Mickey Loomis. I mean, that's just double the fun.
There's a scene in the movie where this guy's going through this medieval town and he's going, "Bring out your dead." Bong, and it's a gong. So people are just dumping dead bodies on the cart. So they wheel it down. And so they go, "Yeah, I got one for you." And he dumps this old man. He goes, "I'm not dead yet." Like, you'll be stone dead. He says he's not dead. I can't take him like that. Yeah, I'll be stone dead in a moment. I'm getting better. He clumps him over the head and kills him.
Is Monty Python the best thing to ever come out of British television?
I don't know.
Because, British television.
I never saw the British version of The Office. And that,
neither have I.
I don't know if that was good.
Neither
but
have
I love the American version of The Office.
The British version came first, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. That must have been pretty good if America was like, if the good old USA was like, man, you got to get us some of that.
Let us do that.
Or maybe it was bad and they were like, let us show you how it's done.
Maybe.
England. Let us show you how it's done again.
Yeah.
Alex Bregman drove in a run last night for the Sox. It was the only run that Boston scored. The game went to 11 innings. It was a sac fly for Alex Bregman, his 11th RBI of the season. And Dylan Cruz, in a rough start for D.C., man. Rough start for D.C. in D.C. 0 for 3 hat trick last night for Cruz. Hitting just 128. And Tari Eason, 17 points in a starting role for the Rockets last night. 7 of 12 from the floor. Added 5 boards. Stuff in the stat sheet. They'll be in the playoffs, so we'll continue to bring you Tari Eason Tari Eason updates. Ben Simmons did not play a night ago for the Clippers against those Rockets. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Brought to you by Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations, y'all. Okay, a couple things. Number one, tomorrow, Friday and Lent. Man, I hear you talking about Supper Club. The steaks sound awesome, but Friday and Lent, you got to do the no meat thing. Great. Go to Supper Club. What do you mean? Because everything they do at Supper Club is awesome. The Chilean sea bass is incredible. Salmon. Every Friday during Lent, chef does a Friday Lenten special on the menu. So not even sure what it'll be tomorrow. Go find out. Stone crabs from Florida. They're in season. They are giant. They buy them directly from the fishermen in Florida, so they're fresh. Of course they are. It's Supper Club. And they get the Alaskan king crabs from the fleet of ships from the show The Deadliest Catch. So like when the boxes come in, they have like the label with the boat's name. And so you know like if it was one of the boats that was actually on the show. Of course they do, because it's Supper Club. And everything at Supper Club is the best. So, of course, if you want the best steak you'll ever eat in your life, you get it at Supper Club. But even if you're not eating meat, you're looking for a seafood option on a Friday in Lent, go to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, or just go there right now. I mean, they're about to open in 7 minutes, so pop on in. Maybe you're knocking off of work. Don't go home. Pop into Supper Club, belly up to the bar, open seating at the bar. Always have a craft cocktail, a glass of wine, maybe some apps, or if you want to have dinner, join them tonight over at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Jeff Duncan's joining us here in about 7 minutes from right now. Coming up after SportsCenter, Kendall Rogers next hour as well. We'll talk a little SEC baseball as we head into the baseball weekend. Lots of good stuff up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to check it out. In the last segment, we were talking a little bit about options for the New Orleans Saints in the draft outside of 9, maybe steals mid-late rounds. One of the features that Ross Jackson's doing right now, which I think is a really good idea, it kind of gives you some perspective on players that might be available at certain points in the draft when the Saints are picking. So instead of like just putting up a mock draft where it's one selection for each pick, it's like, okay, when the Saints pick in round 3, here's like 5 guys that could be on the board. So this is an illustration of like what we're talking about. Like he's got Trey Harris as a possibility in round 3 for the New Orleans Saints. Tennessee running back Dylan Sampson, who is the SEC Player of the Year. LSU tight end Mason Taylor. Indiana defensive tackle C.J. West is on that list. Remember, that was a guy that LSU went after out of Kent State in the transfer portal. Michigan edge Josiah Stewart. And he throws in 5 extras. Central Florida running back R.J. Harvey. Texas defensive tackle Alfred Collins. Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals. A&M defensive tackle Shamar Turner. Ole Miss linebacker Chris Paul, of course, was an Arkansas transfer. I guess my point is, you rattle off those names, and you can understand, like, while the top of this year's draft may not be the most elite a draft has ever been, especially with the quarterback position, like where a year ago there were 6 dudes that went in round 1 at quarterback, the depth in this draft is kind of what's being heralded. Like, the guys you're going to be able to find around 2 and 3, like the depth of this draft really feels like it's the key. And so when you're picking, you have 4 picks in the top with 90 picks of the draft, Saints can really make some hay coming 2 weeks from today. Hour 3 next.
After further review.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Center.
I'm Doug Brown. First round of the Masters today. Live coverage right now on ESPN and the ESPN app. Justin Rose is the leader after a 7-under 65, his only bogey on 18. At the moment, he has a 3-shot lead over reigning champ Scottie Scheffler and Corey Connors. Freddie Couples, now at 65 years old, shot a 1-under 71 today. Luka Doncic showed all his emotions and all his talent in his return to Dallas Wednesday night. ESPN's Kendrick Perkins was impressed with the way Doncic handled the trade to the Lakers.
That hurt him, and I thought it was great to show the human side of Luka, but I also thought it was even more of a beautiful thing for him to go out there and hand them people a 45-piece wing dinner on the back-to-back, dealing with so many emotions.
Kendrick Perkins, Pistons guard Jaden Ivey is now cleared for basketball activities. He's been out since New Year's Day with a broken left leg. The team is going to the playoffs for the first time in 6 years.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. John Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. He'll be with us in about 15 minutes. I have, for many weeks, talked about my excitement and, quite honestly, okay with the New Orleans Saints using the 9th pick on a quarterback. And I've talked a lot about that now. And I wanted to give a contrasting opinion from someone whose opinion I trust and respect very much. That's Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, Times-Picayune. Good enough to join us here for a couple minutes. He's got a column up today basically talking about why people like me are stupid. Jeff, thanks for the time. How are you, man?
Hey, Matt, I'm doing good. And I don't think I used those exact words, did I?
No, I did. It's for emphasis. It works on radio. Okay. Why no quarterback at 9?
Well, I just think in talking to people around the league that I trust, a lot of different teams that I value their opinion, there's just no quarterback in this draft that I feel is worthy of it, unless you were going to get Cam Ward. I don't think that's going to happen. It's not a great year. You know, it's a very similar – you look at some of these past years, I think of the Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis year for quarterbacks. Really none of those guys, Desmond Ridder, none of them panned out. It feels a lot like that year, and I just don't think the organization at this point is in position to gamble at number 9. I don't have a problem with taking a developmental guy, which is what most of these quarterback prospects you talk to NFL teams, that's the way they view them. I don't have a problem taking one in a later round, but I think number 9, where this team is, 5-12, aging, bloated roster, they just can't afford to strike out with a Blaine Gabbert, somebody like that. That miss, I think, would really set this organization back. It's not like I've had a lot of fans, a lot of people on social media say, well, you know, they gambled on Davenport in 2018. It's completely different circumstances with the organization. I mean, that was worth the gamble then. They were 13-3. Drew Brees was still playing at a very high level. They looked at that as a smart, calculated gamble it might push them over the top and get them a Super Bowl. That's not where they're at now, and I just don't think they can afford to miss, especially after the last few drafts haven't really produced very many impact players.
Okay, so why can't they afford to miss at quarterback?
I don't think you can afford to miss on anybody at 9, whether it's a quarterback or anybody. I think you take your best player, you stay true to your board. And in talking to these teams around the league, no one has anyone close to the top 10 except for Cam Ward. Nobody. Like almost every team I talked to said their next rated guy, Shedeur Sanders, was like 44th. So I guess you could argue, and I know quarterbacks get drafted higher than their grade. I know that's something that happens regularly in the league. I just don't think they can afford to reach. There's just too many instances in the past where we've seen that burning teams. I used that in my column. I mean, look how many of these teams have reached and forced it because they felt like they had to have a guy as opposed to getting the guy. And look, it might work out. I'm not saying it won't. Maybe Jackson Dart is the guy. Maybe he develops into the guy. It could happen, but I think you're really rolling the dice at a time when you really can't afford to.
Jeff, do you have any idea what the Saints think about Shedeur Sanders?
No, I don't. They've kept their cards close to the vest. That's why I think there's just a lot of speculation running rampant right now about what their intentions are. I think that's what happens this time of year, Matt, with the gulf between pro day workouts and the draft. There's like a 2 to 3 week window, and we're all in the business of filling airtime and newspaper content, right? And it fills that void with speculation, and then it just takes on a life of its own. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. And if the Saints take Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart at number 9, I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. I'm not going to be the one out there saying, it won't be fun to watch, but I don't think you make draft picks on what's going to spark life in the organization. I think that's fueling a lot of the fans' discontent right now, and I get it. This team has been not very successful and fairly boring the last few years. People are dying for some type of hope, some type of excitement, but that's an adrenaline shot that's going to wear off very quickly if this quarterback turns out to be Trey Lance and they're not winning. Then what have you got?
Could be Josh Allen. That's always the thing about taking the shot, which is interesting, Jeff, because the way, I know you phrased it this way, it's been 53 years, right? I mean, they've done it once ever. And my contention is kind of, not that I'm necessarily bullish on Shedeur, right? I mean, I like Shedeur probably more than other people do, but like I'm not pounding the table like this is the next Joe Burrow or whatever. But at some point in this franchise's future, they've got to write a quarterback's name on the card in round 1 and hand it to the commissioner.
Yeah.
When do they do that, Jeff?
I'm with you on that. I totally agree. I think I wrote a column a few weeks ago that almost seems contradictory to what I just wrote this week, saying they got to have an after Derek plan, right? I agree. The whole mission right now should be finding the guy after Derek Carr, and whether that's this year or next year, I think you don't force it. I think that's the worst thing you can do is force it. I think you build the roster and then try and get a quarterback next year when hopefully they're in a better position to get a guy that could be the answer. Having said that, I mean, I'm not totally against Shedeur Sanders. I think he's a very interesting, promising prospect, but there's a lot of mixed opinions on him around the league. A lot of people that do not think he's going to translate well to the NFL game. There's some people that are very high on him. I just think it's a gamble they can't afford to make.
Jeff Duncan is with us, NOLA.com, Times Picayune. Get him on Twitter at @JeffDuncan_. As best you can tell, Jeff, where does like the Kellen Moore of it all fit in here, right? Because this is a guy who played quarterback, is a quarterback coach, offensive-minded coach, who's going to want his own guy eventually. Like he inherited Derek Carr. Like what as best you could tell, how does Kellen Moore factor into that decision this year about whether or not they take a quarterback at 9 or anywhere in the draft?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think we don't really know. Reporters that were at the NFL owners meetings, asked him directly about what he's looking for, and he was pretty cagey about it. He spoke in cliches and very vague answers. But what I would say to you, Matt, is one thing I know about Mickey Loomis, the one thing, and I know he's under fire right now, and probably rightfully so by a lot of segments of the fan base, he will get the quarterback that Kellen Moore wants. He will support his head coach and get him his guy. There's absolutely no doubt. I've never heard him from anyone that's coached with him or under him that's felt like, oh, no, I want you to take this guy. If Kellen Moore likes Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart or somebody, they're going to take him. They'll find a way to get him. That's one thing Mickey Loomis is very good at, is getting his head coach the guy he wants.
It's a very interesting perspective. If they do, so if you're not okay with a quarterback at 9, where do you draw the line, Jeff, where you say, okay, at this point, I'm all right taking a shot?
Look, I would not be opposed maybe trading back into the bottom of round 1 just because you could get a 5-year, you get that extra year with your quarterback. I understand the logic, Matt. I think that the logic makes a lot of sense, right? Carr's going to be the guy. You sit your quarterback of the future behind him a year, especially a guy like Jackson Dart, who everyone says is going to need time to develop and learn an NFL progression read system. He didn't do that in Lane Kiffin's offense. He's going to need time to adjust. And then you've got the rookie contract. We all know the Saints' salary cap issues. You've got a rookie contract, and you could build. I get the logic of all that. It makes perfect sense. I just don't think this is the year that you're going to find that guy. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, guys do develop, but there's not too many. When you start looking at some of these past years, I know last year a lot of people are saying, well, Bo Nix was not that well thought of. Well, he was in Denver. Denver had him number 2 in the entire quarterback class behind Jaden Daniels, above Caleb Williams, above Drake May. I don't think anyone is having that type of opinion on these quarterbacks. I just don't. I think we're trying to force things because the Saints desperately need an answer there.
Jeff, do you think Derek Carr is the Saints quarterback in 2026?
No.
So do you think the 2026 quarterback is currently on the Saints roster?
No. I think they'll solve that after next season. And look, this thing could go really south, right? I mean, we don't know. I mean, this thing could bottom out next year, Matt, and they're picking number 1. And I don't think Arch Manning is going to come out. From what I've been told, he's going to play more than 1 year at Texas, but we all know things change. But then you're looking at something like that, and then you've got it solved. But that's a long way off, and a lot can happen.
He is Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, Times-Picayune. Got a good column up today. Why the Saints should make it 54 years without drafting a quarterback in the first round. Last and only, of course, is Archie Manning back in 1971. Get him on Twitter at @JeffDuncan_. We appreciate the time always, man. Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me on, buddy. I appreciate you.
It's our pleasure. We'll talk soon. It is After Further Review. You need to cleanse your palate. How about some Evermore? EVA-MOR. Always got my bottle of Evermore here on the set that y'all can see. EVA-MOR. It's a great Louisiana product. It's a better form of hydration. Y'all, like Cloth and Nuss, the Olympic volleyball players, they're Evermore endorsers. If it's good enough for literally Olympic athletes, Dak Prescott is an Evermore endorser. Go to the homepage of the website. You'll see Dak right there drinking Evermore. They're doing some great NIL deals as well. EVA-MOR. It's a better form of hydration for elite athletes, and it's just a healthier option for your family. Like, do your research on why tap water ain't the best option for you. And if you want a better form of hydration, something healthier for your entire family, you want Evermore. EVA-MOR. Available at great local retailers and online at evermore.com. EVA-MOR, evermore.com. Appreciate Jeff Duncan for jumping aboard with us here. It's an interesting perspective. It's not an anti-Shedeur Sanders sentiment. It's just a don't force a quarterback at number 9 because you think you need a quarterback sentiment, and I do understand that. But in the same way that Jeff said Bo Nix, like Denver had Bo Nix as the number 2 quarterback on their board last year. They were bullish on him, and they seem to have hit. What if the Saints love Shedeur? Like, what if they have him as a top 10 player in this draft? I mean, that's the thing we don't know, and maybe we'll find out in time. And Patrick Mahomes lingered until pick 10. Saints were going to nab him at 11. Chiefs went up and got him at 10. I mean, the Bears took Mitchell Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. So the draft is a very uncertain exercise. And And my point will continue to be, at some point, you've got to write a quarterback's name on a card in round 1 and give it to the commissioner to read. Because your organization will not move forward. You cannot be afraid of taking that risk. All right. It's After Further Review. Kendall Rogers next. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions over at Glow Resources. No matter what business you work in, if it's the medical field, if it's in law, if you run a CPA firm, maybe it's skilled blue-collar labor that you need. If you have a problem getting the right people in your business to maximize efficiency, productivity, profitability, that's where Glow Resources can help. Yes, they're a great local company, and I love telling you about that. Jareth Knockan has made sure their headquarters have stayed here in Baton Rouge. But they've got offices in New Orleans and Miami and Orlando and Houston and the Golden Triangle and in Mississippi. They're all over the place. And they help businesses find employees for jobs all over the world. So if you're having trouble finding the right people, Glow Resources can help with a 96% success rate. Check them out online at glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
After this weekend, be halfway home in SEC play, and it starts tonight, Thursday, with a couple of matchups. Missouri at Florida, South Carolina at Texas A&M. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, good enough to join us as he does each Thursday here during the baseball season. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Doing awesome. Of course, with the Tigers sweep on the road Sitting there 10-2. I think a lot of people here are pretty excited. But I want to start with A&M because, oh, my God. And now they host South Carolina, which feels very winnable. Is this the about face that we've all kind of been thinking might be on the horizon for A&M?
Yeah, to be determined. I mean, I told somebody this yesterday, but like when you look at A&M as a whole, even against South Carolina this week, I know Paul doesn't have a very good team, but I think when you look at A&M even before the Tennessee series, like even teams like South Carolina, they were not even playing well against those kind of teams. So I think the way that they play this weekend against South Carolina will tell us a lot. I'll be really honest with you. I think I was pretty negative on their ability to win that series last weekend, and frankly, after the opening game, they get no hit and run ruled. I mean, if there's rock bottom in college baseball, like that is rock bottom. Like that is that. I mean, you're embarrassed by that. And I think for them, they had two choices. They could have thrown in the towel the rest of the weekend. That's probably their season if they get swept. Or you rebound and attempt to go scorched earth. And they went scorched earth. I mean, if you watch that doubleheader, I mean, Tennessee looked like they were on a swivel. Like even Tony, like at the very end of the series, tried to pump his team up, but like at that point, like the game was over. So we'll find out. I mean, obviously their offense has certainly been clicking as of late. The one thing I'm still, a little leery about is the fact that Ryan Prager has definitely been hittable here as of late. His velocity's down a little bit, and that's something I have my eye on.
Yeah. Is it the trampoline or was it a dead cat bounce? Those two games against Tennessee. Well, this weekend will be a very good indicator at home against South Carolina. Same thing. Look, the other game tonight, Kendall, is Florida, Missouri. I mean, this is the pillow fight in the conference. Ooh. Is this Florida's opportunity? I mean, this is Missouri ain't won a game. I mean, you sweep that series at home. All of a sudden it looks more manageable in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it looks more manageable. I mean, Florida really has a tough road if you look at the remaining schedule, with just one win in conference. I mean, I think if you're Florida, if you do not sweep this series, number one, you're just not very good to begin with. Number two, you're in a really, really bad spot going down the stretch. And so, there's no doubt that Florida's had injuries. I mean, but everybody's dealing with injuries. I mean, LSU doesn't have, hasn't had Gavin Guidry. Tennessee hasn't had Gavin Keelan the past couple of weeks. A&M hasn't had Gavin Grahovic. So, I mean, injuries to some extent are just not a ultra valid excuse at this point. At least, one or two of them, which is what Florida has. But they're a hard team to figure out. I do think they're different from A&M in the sense that I don't feel like the star power in Florida's team is quite what A&M's is. So I don't know if I see a full turnaround. But, I mean, I do think they should sweep Missouri. I mean, Missouri, I was talking to an SEC coach the other day that just played Missouri. And, I know they played decently well against LSU. But, they played them a few weeks ago, and they were like, hey, that's the worst SEC team I've ever seen. So I would expect Florida to sweep that series. If they don't, woof.
Oh, God. They're bad. I mean, they're a very average, mid-major type team. They're bad. Okay. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Arkansas, Georgia. So Georgia's flying high, and then the offense gets completely humbled, right? They score 8 runs over the entire weekend. And now, here comes number 1 Arkansas. So what do we make of Georgia at this point, coming off of last weekend, and now looking at number 1 in the country?
Yeah, I think this is a scary series for Arkansas. I saw Georgia and Texas last week in a couple of games, and I'll tell you this, Texas pitched in really well, but, I mean, Georgia hit several balls right on the nose, kind of like LSU that weekend, that just didn't get out because the wind was blowing in. Now, give UT a lot of credit, but, I mean, Georgia's offense was very much held at bay in that series. I just think, they get back home, Rylan Zaborowski hit a monster home run in midweek action in Athens earlier this week. I think they're going to be more offensive. But on the same token, I mean, this is an Arkansas team that, even probably 3 weeks ago, Arkansas fans are ready for DVH to get rid of their hitting coach and Nate Thompson. I mean, now they're hitting 360 as a team. Like, they're an elite offensive team. And earlier this week, DVH actually came out at their alumni club meeting or the booster club meeting and was like, hey, you can stop texting me about my hitting coach. And so it's been kind of a tense deal with the fans and the coaching staff there with the hitting coach stuff. But I do like Arkansas here. I mean, Georgia, I think, will play much more offensive at home. But I think Arkansas can go mano-a-mano with anybody offensively right now. That's not something we could say about them maybe 4 weeks ago.
Kendall, give me a thought on LSU Auburn on the Plains.
Another scary series. I mean, I think if you look at Auburn, I really like two of their younger freshmen in Chase Freilich and Chris Rimbert. I mean, if you think about the freshmen on the field this weekend, Kason Evans, Derek Curiel, Rimbert, Freilich. I mean, it's just insane star power for young players. But the big thing for LSU this weekend against AU is just keeping Cooper McMurray and Ike Irish from running into ball with a couple of guys on base. If they can do that, I do like LSU's chances. I think LSU is just downright the better team. I do like the way they pitched last weekend. I would say the weather certainly favored pitching on both sides last weekend in Norman. But I just like their overall vibe right now, this LSU pitching staff. Ianson threw much better. I think Chase Shores throwing much better was a huge development, even if Oklahoma isn't an elite offensive team. And, I think I like LSU chances on the road. It's going to be a tough series, though.
Am I wrong to think LSU has a pretty decided advantage in the starting rotation? We all know we saw Sammy Dutton here at LSU. He's their Friday guy.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, they're TBA in Game 3.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Sam Dutton has certainly taken a big step forward. But, I mean, it's Sam Dutton versus Kate Anderson. That's obviously a pretty hefty advantage. So, yeah, I would say the rotation definitely has a massive advantage here.
Couple more for you. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, is with us. Get him on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. You go subscribe over at d1baseball.com. We started with Tennessee. Let's loop back to it now. So after losing a series at home to A&M, your reward, you get to go on the road to Ole Miss. I would imagine Swayze will be pretty rowdy this weekend in a top 10 matchup. Does Ole Miss have any matchup advantages in this series against the Vols?
That would be a no.
Okay.
The beautiful thing about college baseball, though, is they could have no advantage and still find a way to win the series. I think the biggest thing for me that I'm very concerned about Ole Miss here is if you look at what they've done at the back end of the bullpen throughout the season, it has not been very good. Like, they've honestly, I don't know how they're winning games because their bullpen has been very erratic and it's been very much a seesaw. But, Hunter Elliott, I think, will pitch well against Liam Doyle. The other storyline here is Liam Doyle and Andrew Fisher returning to Ole Miss. Obviously, Liam was the Friday guy at Ole Miss last year. Andrew Fisher was a starting third baseman at Ole Miss last year, and they returned to Oxford. So a lot of storylines here, a lot of emotions at play, and when that happens, upsets can happen. But I just think Tennessee, I think Ole Miss's shot to take 2 or 3 from them was much greater had Tennessee not lost a series to A&M. But after Tennessee lost that series to A&M, you could tell Tony, like, this was their wake-up call, and I would expect Tennessee to play very well in Oxford this weekend. And if Ole Miss wins that series, they will have played at an extremely high level.
Hey, Kendall, before you go, I always like to ask, for something outside of the SEC. Is there a series outside of the SEC this weekend that you're putting a big star next to?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 quick ones. I mean, the Big 12. I mean, imagine me telling you guys 4 months ago this is a massive series, but Kansas at TCU is actually a really big series in the Big 12. Kansas, Dan Fitzgerald, former LSU assistant, has done a marvelous job in Lawrence. I mean, Kansas is a top 25 team. They are squarely in the hosting mix right now. I mean, a top 16 RPI. They go to Fort Worth this weekend. If they win that series, it gives them a little cushion at the top of the Big 12. Obviously, TCU has a really exciting team, one of the best freshmen in the country, and Sawyer Stroh-Schneider. And then the ACC, I think they're going to get potentially rained out tonight. But Wake Forest at North Carolina, I mean, Wake Forest run rules. Florida State 2 straight games last weekend in Tallahassee. But they go to North Carolina this weekend to face Jason DeCaro and Jake Knapp and that really talented weekend rotation in North Carolina. So those are the 2 kind of big ones I've got my eye on.
Kendall Rogers, d1baseball.com. Get him on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Man, always appreciate the time. We'll do it again next week.
You got it, brother. Be good. Thank you.
Thanks, man. It's After Further Review brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. We always say do business with someone you know. That's us over at Parish Construction and Roofing, me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and our whole great crew over at Parish Construction and Roofing. Hey, look, if it's commercial or residential, we'd love to help you out. Roof repairs, roof replacements, we do it all. And right now we're giving away $10,000. We'll do it at the end of this month on the 25th. will draw, but all you got to do to enter is sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection. I mean, it's really that simple. All the rules and details are at the website, but I mean, it's that simple. There's no purchase necessary or anything. If you go to the website, fill out the form, sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection at parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, you're entered in the drawing to win $10,000. We'll draw on AFR on the 25th. Last month we gave away $5,000. This month we're upping it to $10,000, and I don't know where we'll stop. We'll do it again, but do business with someone you know. You can always give us a shout. If you'd rather give us a buzz, 364-1007, 364-1007, or parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Remember, we offer financing as well. 18 months interest-free financing is available for the total cost of your roof, or we can even finance your deductible. So if you're having trouble coming up with the deductible, but you've got to replace your roof, we can help. Let us walk you through how we can help you get that done. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction Roofing, that's parishbuilt.com. All right, been a good show. I mean, thanks to Andy Burcham, the radio voice of the Auburn Tigers. He was here in hour number 1. You just heard Jeff Duncan, Kendall Rogers here in hour 3. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. It's all there for you. YouTube, podcast, whichever you'd prefer. Just search AFR LSU or AFR Saints, depending on what you're looking for. You want the whole show, just search After Further Review. You'll find it there. All right, y'all, it is AFR. We'll knock out a quick break. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. DJ Chester, West Weeks met with reporters after LSU practice here on Thursday. A couple of highlights, including Chester talking about the position battle that he has going on, be more comfortable in year number 2. We'll get to all that as we continue here on a Thursday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about the Watermark and the Renaissance every day. It's 2 amazing hotel properties, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. And no matter what vibe you're kind of going for, either is an amazing property that can help you achieve that end for whatever event that you may have over at the Watermark or the Renaissance. At the Renaissance, we talk so much about the uniqueness of the Renaissance because, at the Renaissance, everything is truly unique. It's a one-of-one. No matter which Renaissance you're in and what market, they are all unique to that market. So, like, the bar at the Renaissance is a blown-up jazz scene. The light fixtures are clarinets. The concierge, they call them navigators. The housekeepers are stylists. They have live plants throughout the hotel. Those are not fake plants. They're live plants throughout. When you go into the lobby and they have complimentary coffee, it's community coffee in the lobby. It's another way that they lean in to the local culture there at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Steven sent a text on the show text line. Remember, you can always text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Said, serious question regarding NIL. At what point does school attendance not matter, as in you're just strictly an athlete, no school needed, just play ball? Yeah, I don't think, and I'm not naive to this, y'all. I mean, I am, y'all know, I have been Mr. NIL, transfer portal, extremist, let everybody make as much as they want, transfer as many times as you want, no rules, no limitations. Like, I'm good with that. And I am. I do believe, though, as long as there is an association with the university, you're going to have to be enrolled in the university. And you might say, why? Ultimately, because obviously right now, you are still talking about, even if it's just nominally intercollegiate athletics, you have to be enrolled in school. And I can't imagine that even if college football breaks away from the NCAA and becomes an independent entity, right? Like I've said often is going to happen. Like we are going to exist in a world. I've been saying this for a decade. And it's now becoming clearer to a lot of people. It's just something I saw a decade ago and talked about. And a lot of people have crapped on me for a decade for it. But now most people are coming around to the idea. Like we are going to see an independent entity that is just college football. Like it's not going to be the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC. I mean, you can call it structured however you want, but it's going to be like an invite only or a buy-in only of 40, 50 teams, whatever it is. And they will collectively go negotiate their TV deals and divide and how they structure the division of funds and all that stuff. It's not going to be the ACC's TV deal and the SEC's TV deal and the Big Ten's. Like it's just going to be college football, right? And when it becomes independent, it'll be governed differently than it is right now with the NCAA, which is pointless. I mean, the NCAA keeps getting sued. And so they just have stopped enforcing their rules because every time they try to enforce a rule, they get sued and they lose. So like, all right, we're just not going to enforce our rules anymore. Like I think the NCAA has a great purpose and function for the non-revenue sports and the lower tier sports. Like the original purpose of the NCAA was to organize championships. So like Division II cross country needs some organization for its sport. The NCAA is great at that. What the NCAA is not great at is football and primarily men's basketball as well. Although the NCAA tournament is amazing and the NCAA puts on that event, their ability to govern men's college basketball because of NIL and portal and all this stuff is no longer relevant. So I don't know what they do when they cross that bridge. But to the point, long way of answering the question from it was Steven. Even when, not if, when you get to just college football, right, operating independently, it's still going to be institutions of higher learning, which are governed by women and men who at their core are educators, right? The presidents of universities, chancellors. They're not going to, I can't see a world where the president or chancellor of a university allows people who are not enrolled in their university to play on their athletic teams. That's just something that if there is a line, I think that's where it stops. And now every school has their own eligibility requirements or attendance. I mean, so many student athletes attend school only online now as it is. So that line is blurred a bit. So you can say it's semantics, it's just for show, and I may not even argue with you. I just can't see a world. And look, and we can agree, I've had pretty good foresight on this. Like, I've been probably a decade ahead of most everybody on this conversation. But even I can't see a world where you don't have to be enrolled in school to play. Like, that still feels like, okay, this is the singular prerequisite. You got to be a student at this school to be able to play on this team. I mean, even club sports. Club sports aren't governed by the NCAA, but it's still students at the school who are making up the club rosters. So I don't know that we ever get to that point. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows, awesome people, awesome community members as well. Man, I was perusing Facebook earlier today, and I saw Brandon had a post of he and Adrian at a fundraiser gala, and looking great, and always giving back to the community. Just another way that Relief Windows has continued to be ingrained in the local communities that they serve. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. So, yes, absolutely. Windows, door, siding, shutters, that's a commodity. You can buy those lots of places. But at Relief Windows, we're talking about the best quality products like their Geldwin wood windows. They're a premier dealer. Those are wood windows that come with a lifetime warranty. And in South Louisiana, where it's wet, humid, you see mold and rot, your HOA requires wood windows, and you want to be done after installing them once, be done forever, you want Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door, siding, they do shutters as well. ReliefWindows.com. After LSU practice on Thursday, Jacobian Guillory, DJ Chester, West Weeks all met with reporters. And Chester, I think, what's so interesting about him is as we've seen him continue to run with the ones at center, is also getting reps at guard. And it's sort of a universally understood truth that his natural position is guard. He's just a giant body that you would normally put at guard in a phone booth and let him go move other giant people off the ball. When you play center, it's obviously harder to keep a lower center of gravity. Low man wins. It's harder to do that when you're big. It's why you don't typically see big center. Someone like Ethan Posick at 6'7" was such an outlier at center. And you brought in Braylon Moore. But DJ Chester did talk about sort of like how he's become more comfortable and things have just been coming a little bit easier for him here in his second year heading in this spring.
Yeah, I feel like I made a lot of strides if we're going to compare it to last spring to this spring. I feel I'm more comfortable out there. I feel like I'm more, like the game slowed down for me because I played so much last year, and it's just now getting everybody get along so we can be the best unit.
So game slowed down, which you love to hear. He did circle back and talk about last year where he started all 13 games at center.
Last year I learned a lot just being first time actually playing live college football. Yeah, practice is real. Yes, you get live reps in practice, but when you in Tiger Stadium and you got almost 105,000 people counting on you, and plus the state, plus the people watching at home, it's different. The pressure's different, the atmosphere is different. But from my first year starting, I started every game, so I feel like every game I got better. Every game, like I struggled starting off the season, but I feel like by the end of it, it was pretty good. I started playing my best football at the end.
And you would love to see that continue. I just can't help but think, does it get even better? And does that improvement continue to be sort of a parabolic run-up if he's playing a natural position? Because and I've heard T-Bob talk about this just in the many shows that he and I have done over the years, and obviously with he and Jake on Off the Bench in the mornings. You know, T-Bob was a versatile swing guy that played center and guard, and he could go in at any spot. But he's talked very openly about how much easier it is to go play guard as opposed to center, because when your hand's on the football and you're making the calls, there's so much more thought involved as opposed to just put your hand in the dirt and go. So how much better of a player, how much faster do you play, how much more physical and aggressive can you be if the mental part of it is taken away? And that's something that might might be there for DJ Chester if Braylon Moore can unseat him, which seems to be the reality. But I'll tell you very candidly, I'm surprised. Like, I am surprised that we're here with 3 practices left. There are 12 practices in the spring, and DJ Chester is still primarily taking the reps with the ones. And Braylon Moore's coming in to a new situation, a new offense, new teammates, new plays, new terminology, new everything. But the fact that, I mean, you went and sought this guy who was arguably the best center in the portal, and you got him because your weakest link offensively on the line last year was DJ Chester. I mean, it's not just a matter of my opinion. That's a matter of, you can look at Pro Football Focus, you can look at any of the metrics you want. Like, DJ Chester was your lowest graded and rated and performing offensive lineman last season. So you go, it's the reason you went and got Braylon Moore. So there's a couple of ways to think about it. Like, are you maybe seeing this dramatic improvement from DJ Chester? Yeah, here you go. Like, his offensive grade this year was a 49. His overall season grade by Pro Football Focus was a 49. 49.1. His pass blocking grade was a 64. His run blocking grade was a 49.5. And he committed 14 penalties. I mean, he had 3 against Arkansas alone. He had 2 in the game on the road at South Carolina. So, anyway, if he's improving greatly and wins that job, awesome. But I think we could all agree that would be a surprise. But we just talked about his run blocking grade not being great, and Chester was pretty adamant they intend to run the ball this year.
You got to be physical and nasty in the trenches. So if you're afraid to run the ball, you're not going to be successful. Everybody runs the ball. The first play is probably going to be run the ball because the run game gets the pass game going. It opens it up.
Can't be afraid to run the ball. It's a very similar comment that Will Campbell made before the USC game last year when he said we are going to run the ball, write it down, we're going to get in a fist fight, all that stuff. And LSU ended up being the worst rushing offense in the SEC. It's staggering to think how far we've come from the Les Miles era to where LSU was ranked 107th nationally in rushing offense and was dead last in the SEC. That is something that just has to improve one way or another. They've invested the resources into the offensive line. See if it manifests. But something to watch this weekend as well for that open spring practice. Whether or not Chester is at center with the ones, Braylon Moore, how much they rotate. We'll all be watching it Saturday in Tiger Stadium. All right, it's after further review. Final break. We'll wrap up. You want to get Ask Us? We could do that as we wrap up next here on AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all, we're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. The rain has cleared. The cold snap is over. We are steamrolling through spring and staring at the summer months. It is time to just plant something. What? Don't care. Anything. Get by Clegg's Nursery. Find the prettiest thing that you think looks good. Or take a picture of your outdoor area, bring it into Clegg's, show their friendly horticulturists, hey, this is what my outdoor space looks like. What do you think I should use here? They'll give you some great advice. Also, as you're taking care of your lawn right now and you're getting it ready for all the spring fun and being out, if you've got weeds in your lawn, they've got Fertilome, which is an awesome product. If you want a weed-free zone, they've got it over at Clegg's Nursery. All of your unwanted pests, they can help you knock them out here this spring and summer, so you know what to do. There's 4 locations. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. Schedule that discovery call, y'all. DecisionCriticalBR.com. It's not just healthcare; it's healthcare for your lifestyle. Blasia and the team do awesome work, whether it's bringing home a newborn, if it's end-of-life care, maybe it's post-operative care in your home. They come to you. Maybe you're feeling under the weather, you need an IV at your home or at the office, they'll come to you. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Love our partnership. Great people. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Tomorrow, we are at Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm pretty excited about this. We will be there for AFR, live on remote. And we put this together with Russell Shepard, former LSU Tiger, number one overall player in the country back in that class of 2008. And it's a class of 09. Yeah. So, Shep signing, because there was no December signing period at the time. So he signed in February of 9.
Because his freshman season was definitely 09.
So, anyway, Shep is retired from football, and he is doing great stuff. He started a company called Shep Boys Waste Management, and he's expanding his business from Houston into Louisiana and all up the East Coast now. They have major expansion. His partner with Mike Evans and Cameron Brate. How about that? Not bad partners. And Cameron Brate went to Harvard. So, anyway. So, Shep's host, he'll be with us hosting some business people there at Don Juan, but also a bunch of former Tigers will be there as we kind of get you ready for supposed to be the spring game, now it's just the spring practice. But excited about the show. Terry will be there with us. Shep will be there. I know a bunch of former Tigers will be there. I know from that era, Lamine Barrows scheduled to be there. Jordan Jefferson will be there. He's got more. I don't know the full list. There might be some current Tigers that pop by too as well. Not 100% sure about that yet, but we'll find out. But looking forward to tomorrow's AFR from Don Juan Cigar Bar. And we will get you ready for LSU and Auburn in baseball. Jay Johnson, when he met with reporters on Wednesday, did talk, before they hit the road to Auburn, did talk about facing former LSU Tiger Sam Dutton on Friday night.
I mean, I know he's a competitor. I know he's a strike thrower, and I know he was a national champion. And I have great respect for him. And sometimes there's different circumstances with players. I believe he got married this offseason. He's from Alabama. His brother's program at Birmingham Southern got canceled last year, so he transferred to Auburn. And I think a lot of it had to do with family, and he's obviously taken advantage of the opportunity that he has, and not surprised by that. And, you know, these last 3 years have been pretty special to me, and he was a part of that. So, you know, obviously not Friday, but other than that, I'm happy for his success.
Dutton played wore a lot of different hats at LSU. Midweek starter, weekend starter, reliever, part of a national championship team. But you got two guys that are familiar with each other's programs. Of course, Sam Dutton will be starting Friday night for Auburn. Chris Stanfield will be starting all 3 games in center field for LSU against Auburn. So a guy that is actually leading LSU hitting in SEC play with a .375 batting average. See if Chris Stanfield can go to the familiar confines there of Plainsman Park. And game 1 tomorrow night. We'll get you ready for it. Terry will be with us as well tomorrow from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Okay, y'all, that's going to do it for us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. And we appreciate you for hanging out. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. YouTube, podcast, wherever you get audio or video, you'll find it. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 from Don Juan.
AFR.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.